Well, hello, I'm Sarah Benham, Director of Operation Graduate. Tina, thank you so much for joining us today for a student spotlight.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So, we're going to talk for probably the next 15, 20 minutes a little bit more about your experience working with Operation Graduate and also just what it's been like to go back to school to finish your degree as an adult. First of all, I want to compliment you. You've been doing a phenomenal job. Recently, you achieved Dean's List status. So,
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you.
And I would love to just start out by having you talk a little bit about what was it that motivated you to go back to school as an adult and complete your degree?
Yeah. I knew I wanted more, and then I saw my sister do it. So I have a sister who's in Indiana Tech as well, and she's gotten her associates and then is continued on. She's going to pursue further. Seeing her do it and knowing her drive and her ambition, I was like, okay, we're very similar. And she encouraged me, and you guys encouraged me when I definitely doubted myself at first, but once I got into it, I loved it so much. I love learning. I love reading. I love writing. I like homework. I know it's weird, but I do. And it's all of those things. And I've really enjoyed the process, and it just builds you up. It builds up your self worth.
So you felt like you wanted more and you saw somebody who you loved having some
Yes.
success and that inspired you.
Yes.
And then you just felt like you had support along the way.
Yeah, I have an amazing support system. I have my husband, and then
Mhm.
my 2 older girls are actually in college as well, and they would just, like, build me up too if I got nervous about something. We were actually taking the same course at one point. We were
Oh,
both in anatomy and physiology, and I was like, "Emma, help me on this one," and she would help me. They've been amazing, and, the instructors are amazing. They're kind. They're very personable. I
mhm.
feel like I mean, I would be friends with them outside of this if we met on the street. I'd be like, "Hey." I feel like I know them really well, actually, and I know people might think through Zoom or online is, not as personable, but it really truly is, and it's becoming the future. It really is what we do a lot. I do it at work all the time. I do it now, obviously, for school. I feel like getting comfortable with this is a really good, healthy thing, and it makes you feel like you're with the times, and
Mhm.
I enjoy it, and I do feel like I get to know my instructors really well, and I actually get to know some of my classmates. So we ended up in the same me and another classmate keep ending up in the same class, and
Uh-huh.
we talk a lot in our discussion posts, and it feels good.
There is more interactivity than I
Yes.
think folks anticipate, and that is
Yes.
usually a positive
Yes.
factor. A lot of folks, I think, have an impression that online learning means they're going to feel like they're on an island at home all the time. And
Right.
the structure of the classes really is conducive to real-time feedback, right? Between the
Yes.
discussion boards, the live tech, and I'm happy to hear that you've gotten to know your instructor
Yeah.
pretty well.
Yeah, and anytime I've ever reached out, and this isn't me just saying it so I can say it, I get an answer within a day.
Hmm.
And as a student working on something, if you're nervous about something, you don't have to be. You reach out, they get back with you, it's fine. And you feel that support. And that's imperative to feeling like you're okay. Like you'd want to run to talk to someone, you do it. You just do it through your fingers and you type it out and they get right back with you. So it feels very good.
I've heard that the messaging feature through Canvas is a really effective way to do that. Have you been using that?
I haven't,
Oh,
but
okay.
I've only
Maybe you'll.
ever done email. Is it the messaging through the email box on my dashboard or no?
Yes, it
Oh yeah,
is.
that's
Oh,
what I use every time.
perfect. Okay,
That
I
is
was
what I
making
use every
sure
time.
we'll figure out a new way today.
Yeah.
So, what are you studying? Tell us a little bit more about your current degree program.
I love it. It's a Bachelor's of Science in Child Development.
Hmm.
I love it because it's actually being used every day with my own job. I love learning about kids in general. I, of course, have a slew of my own, but this is a different type of learning. This is learning for everyone's child. This is learning for a child who might have speech difficulties or cognitive difficulties, or somewhere where you might see someone down the line. You're like, oh, I know how to help you with this, or it's just a beautiful process, and I'm learning more about the a child's brain than I ever kind of thought I would be. And there'd be a class I would go into it thinking, I don't know how much I'll learn, but I'm excited. I always learn more than I thought.
Mhm.
I I'm always surprised by the information, and I'm just grateful for this because I think the more you know, the better you are, and
Mhm.
knowledge is truly power, so you can help with that, and that's what I'm seeing in the classes, and I love learning about the children in general, and it is actually very appropriate for my role right now at work, so I'm really grateful.
Are you comfortable sharing more about your current role and
Yes.
then what your goal is once you have your
Yes.
degree? I remember you and I talking about it,
I know.
and you're still thinking about the same thing.
Yes, so I have been, and I'll say praying because I pray. I've been praying for this job, and I now have it with the prospect of me getting my degree as well. It's all like even during the interview process, this was like, okay, we're looking for someone with a bachelor's degree, and this is why. So I am working at a private school right now at an
Mhm.
administrative level, and what that entails is me helping every tutor that's there, which is tutor slash teacher,
Okay.
on every level that they might need in their classroom. But then I'm also directly working with like the younger kids and helping their teachers get different toys in the classroom that are age appropriate, but also to help brain development. And that was
Mhm.
literally my class I just took. It was a play in childhood, and it's foundations of play. You'd be like, oh, what are you going to learn in there? You learn a lot. You learn
Mhm.
what they need, why they need it, what it does for their brain. Um, it's a beautiful thing to know the to help them when they're little gives them a bright future. And
Mhm.
sometimes I think it's been maybe not necessarily all the time overlooked, but it can be overlooked. And this is just I love what I'm doing, and I get to I use what I learn at Indiana Tech right now at work on a daily basis. And that I didn't think would happen so quickly, so I'm really glad.
So you're taking it and you're applying it immediately.
Yes, it's amazing. I feel almost like I don't deserve it, but I'm enjoying every minute.
Okay, so maybe there's something behind that that we could
Yeah.
dig into that would help others, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Why would you feel like you wouldn't deserve it?
Okay. As a mom, you give yourself, all
Mhm.
of yourself to your family and your children, as we should. But at the same time, you have to make sure, and I think you said this, I think it's literally you carve out time for yourself. And,
Mhm.
and I was starting to feel like there wasn't any place for me. I wasn't bringing anything to the table. And I don't even mean necessarily monetary something, but I wanted to bring something more. And
Mhm.
it did end up being somewhat monetary, but then it also was like me saying, look what I can do with our kids. So it's actually like they come to the school with me, but it's like I get to say I'm doing this for me and for others. And it hasn't taken from my children. I thought it would. I thought this would take from them to go back to school, but the flexible schedule means everything. It's you do what you need to do for your family, and then you do what you need to do for yourself, and it helps cut down on maybe the downtime where you're not doing anything good. This is like really good downtime.
Yeah.
So I feel the value in it all. I'm grateful for the time where I'm like studying, learning, reading, doing homework. You feel productive, and it's a
Mhm.
real productive. But yes, that's how I love the good busy that comes with going back to school at Indiana Tech is the good busy you want. There's like a busy where you're overwhelmed. This ended up being a really good busy, and you're living with intention.
I think that's a really powerful message, and it
Yes.
sounded like initially you thought you were gonna be sacrificing some of
Yes.
your priorities, but instead of doing that, it's actually been able to help you put intention to
Yes.
them.
They can see me happier. They literally see me enjoying my own life better. I went back as a substitute teacher initially, and I left a note on the table for my kids when I got called into work. It was the first day I got called in. And you have to have 62 college credits in our state to work as a sub. So I wrote I got called into work, guys. So my oldest was home. She said the little kids came in the house, read the note, and just started cheering for me. And I wasn't even here. And I was like, "That is so sweet." They were so proud of me, and I was like, "Thank you." So they it didn't take from them. It made them happy for me, and I realized that too, that it's okay to have a little bit of a life. I had a hard time having a little bit of a life, and it's okay because it's actually really good for everybody.
And what a great example that you're setting, right? By
Yes.
demonstrating with your actions, your behaviors, and then now the results, right? With
Yes.
and that's phenomenal.
You
So
guys have been really positive though too. I have to give you credit. You've been positive. You, Sarah, specifically have built me up at times when I was like worried. And then Operation Graduate, like, is like, you got this, the texts, the emails, reaching out, talking to me. It it helped so much get me to a point where I was like, oh yeah, I got this. Like I just needed to hear it a couple more times. Yes, go
oh,
ahead,
you're
Mary.
welcome. I'm so glad
Thank
I
you.
have an opportunity to do this.
Yes, thank you.
So, how did you, oh, you originally heard about us through your sister, you said,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes. That's
Okay,
Teresa. Yep.
I was gonna say, I'm thinking back. Our population is growing, so I still know
Yes.
most of our students by name, but I'm getting to the point now where I don't, and that feels really strange.
Yeah, it's a good
But
thing too in a way.
it is, right, it is a good thing. So what advice would you give to someone, just in general, about how to be successful in school while juggling these other responsibilities?
Yep. Read your assignments ahead of time. Read your discussion posts before you even jump into your reading, because as you see something, you're gonna be like, "Oh, that's part of my question. I'm gonna jot that down." Don't cheat. Know what AI is, and
Uh-huh.
know the difference between doing research and AI, because it's very confusing right now.
Mhm.
Know that everyone who's out there is nervous too, so you're totally fine. Take your time, but definitely do an assignment, especially the first initial assignments. Do them quickly so they're not all Sunday night. That's a hard place to be in. I've been there a couple times. I don't really like it. It makes me nervous. It makes me like I like being to me being early means I'm on time. So
Yeah.
kind of think like that. Think I want to be early, which is technically on time, because if any bumps come up, a big test, a big paper, when you want a little more time, you have it. And you do have until 11:59 on Sunday. So it's a very doable schedule. Obviously, your discussion posts are Thursday, but everything else is Sunday night, and it gives you ample time to get it done. So,
So I'm hearing you talk about being proactive,
yes,
right? Not procrastinating.
yes,
And one thing you touched on that I would love for you to elaborate is the difference between using AI and
yes,
doing research, because
yes,
we talk about that with students weekly. I'm
yes,
probably on the phone with a new student every single week, and
yeah,
we're talking with them about how to navigate this with their instructors,
yeah.
right? Because there's that fine line. So, what would your advice be there on formal research versus using AI? Because then when you're in the AI world, it can often be interpreted as cheating, right?
Yes,
You
I
know,
know. I feel like when you're about to dig in to look up something, you want to find reputable sources, and you're
Mhm,
going to go to specific sites, specific books. You're going to be able to see either the author, you're going to be able to see the actual text itself. You're going to
mhm,
want to put everything into your own words and do your own research. If there's a word you don't understand, you better not be, putting it in your paper. Like that's
mhm,
kind of like basic stuff. But that initial Google search of things will bring up actual AI. That's not what we can put in our stuff. That
mhm.
that's just like, here's a summary of everyone's thought ever. That's not what you're putting in your paper. That's not what you're doing your research on. You're going to dig in further and go in further. I know the turn it in aspect on Canvas, or on our for our modules, you can see your percentage. If you have already written something, it'll tell you, okay, this has a percentage of like 5, which means 5% of it might be something that isn't your own. But usually if it's only like 5, that's you're fine. It'll
Mhm.
turn a different color when they're kind of worried, so it goes to the yellow or the red. I've never been in red. One time I was in yellow, but it was literally because it was a definition of something and it was okay to use. So it does
Yeah.
give you a heads up. You can get a heads up. And I know they've said you can use Grammarly. Things like that are okay to use, but it's never okay to use someone else's words, just for the sheer fact that that is cheating. And then you want to use your own words. I sometimes will get a paper, it'll ask a question, and I'll write down everything I know about that one topic
Mhm,
before I even do the research, because then I'm like, this is Tina's words. This is my thoughts. So there's
mhm,
no way that's AI. And then I'll
mhm.
go do research and I'll correct myself, because I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Again, turning it into my own words and doing my own research for my own knowledge, really, because you're not going to learn anything if you're copying and pasting and stuff like that. So you just make it your own. I mean, literally write down your own thoughts and go from there. That's kind
That
of
is
how.
very wise.
Oh,
And
good.
I bet you that's going to be material that we're going to use from the spotlight
You're
today,
cute.
with your permission, of
Oh, of
course, to
course,
help our
yes.
students, because it's it's a fine line. And even
Yes.
intention behind it is not to cheat,
No.
right? There's
And you
certainly a strategy that you can implement to
yes.
avoid it appearing as if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, and in you I think in this very technology-based everything, we have to go back to we're the people, we're the humans, we're the ones with the brain, so go ahead and use it and don't don't be fooled by something that looks really good. Your thoughts are really good too, and maybe no one's ever heard your point of view, and that's exactly what the world needs. So don't think you need a computer.
That,
Yeah.
yeah, all day. So, can you talk about Turnitin and how you utilize it? I've
Yeah.
heard of it. I know
Yes.
what it is, but I'm putting my student hat on and trying to envision how do you use it while doing your work?
Yep. So when you're doing your work and you have a paper done, you'll have this little tab. You can
Mhm.
even if you've turned it in, let's say you've turned in your stuff and it's either not graded yet, because
Mhm.
you can always turn it back in. Like let's say it's not past the due date. When you
Okay.
turn it in, it'll be a little on your grade tab, it'll be this little tiny square and he'll be green, yellow, or red. And that
Okay.
lets you know. And if you click on it, it'll take you right to your paper. And on the right-hand side, it'll say, "Hey, this looks like it could be either maybe plagiarized, maybe AI, like, kinda look at that." And you might be
Mhm.
like, "Oh, that's a definition. That's exactly what my teacher is looking for." Or
Mhm.
you're gonna go, "Oh, I really thought that was a fact." So I personally have only had one instance where I was flagged, and I genuinely had no idea. I did
Mhm.
not use the Turnitin, it was just this last class. I'm telling you right now, I was shocked. And
Uh-huh.
she's like, "Well, that's AI," and I was like, "No, that was Tina Ide."
Uh-huh.
That's a different I. It was Tina
Right.
Ide. But she's like, "No, this was this one fact inside your thing isn't real." And that it really got me so that you have to remember when you're doing your research, you have to dig in further, double check things, find real sources, not this, "Oh, well, maybe they do this." And it's that initial Google search that'll come up with almost just
Yeah.
nothing or everything, but
Yeah.
go further, just dig in further, and the Turnitin does help. So that I should have done on that.
I'm really glad you reminded me about that feature.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
think that it's something that we should start introducing to students in orientation.
Yeah, it would be helpful because 'cause they're coming from a place where they've used their phones almost all the time, phones or, whatever, whatever Google use, but you're whatever platform, but you're using something that's gonna tell you your thoughts or
Mhm.
tell you the facts, and you're like, "No, I'm gonna go read it." And so that's
Mhm.
the difference, and then the Turnitin tells you, like, "Hey, this could be something." It does help in that little tag, if you're green, you're probably perfectly fine, but you'd still click on it. There might be
Mhm.
1 or 2 sentences that they're saying, "Are these sentences okay?" And of course they are. Sometimes it was my name. And it would be
Mhm.
green, but it's like, "Are you Christina Ide?" "I am Christina Ide."
Fact check. Yes, I am.
Check.
Oh, well, that is so helpful. And honestly,
Yeah, good.
how we help our whole community is by sharing
Yes.
best practices and really
Yes.
inspiring each other. So I love that through this, you're going to continue to do that and help.
Yes.
So this might be maybe my final question, but
Okay.
what advice would you give someone who is thinking of going back to school online?
Yeah. I always feel like this, I always feel like saying, "You deserve it.
Hmm.
You're worth it."
Hmm.
The way you guys help the students coming into this, financially, I was so worried, but that wasn't I didn't have to be worried once I realized I was getting help. It was gonna be a doable loan if I needed one here or there. You explain things very well. Just knowing that if it's even on their heart a little bit, there's a reason it's on their heart. Because
Hmm.
it's like that little voice saying, "Hey, guess what? You need a little more." And it's always goes back to what are you gonna spend your time on? Is it good for you? Is it gonna bring you to a better place or does it hurt you? Spend your time on the good, and this is good.
I love hearing you say you deserve it because
Yeah.
like you have very much learned that
Yes.
yourself.
I
And
had
so,
a hard time, yeah.
well, is there anything else you would like to share before we wrap up?
Um, oh, use the options for deliverables. I always think when kids or students get into a school, it'll say, so a lot of times your big assignments that are worth like 150 points, it'll say, use your choice of a deliverable. So that could be a video, it can be an infograph, it could be a PowerPoint. They're so fun. I wish everyone knew it was fun. And it's fun to do, and it helps you be creative, and then you learn things you didn't think you'd learn. I absolutely love doing PowerPoints. Who says that? I love
Uh,
slideshows. Who says that? I think Indiana Tech students say that because we do. We like slideshows. They're fun. So it opens up a world you didn't think you'd do, and it's good for us.
so you're saying that when you're looking at your assignments, you
Yeah.
have different ways that you could demonstrate your
Yeah.
knowledge, not just write a paper every time.
Right.
You could do a presentation through PowerPoint. You could do
Yeah.
an infographic using, let's say, Adobe
Yeah,
or
Microsoft 365 a lot, and then,
Mhm.
the videos are literally me. If the assignment says video, it'll be me on my phone videoing myself, and then
Mhm.
I download it to YouTube and upload it, and it's my assignment, and it is very fun, and I've been able to record interviews and record myself, and it just makes you have all these other options that don't feel boring at all, and it's literally how we do grow as a student. We get out of our shell, out of our comfort space, and grow. And I wouldn't be doing it without this. I wouldn't. I'd be like, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't believe these kids nowadays." I I'm one of them. Just kidding. I know
I
I'm not a kid.
know you are in a great way. Well, I'm so glad I asked. That's wonderful advice.
Yes, good.
What else is on your list?
Oh,
Anything?
yeah. You can do it. Basically do the assignments early because it does help. Because that Sunday night crunch can take your peace, and you don't wanna do that.
You do
It's
not.
it's important that balance of school, work, home life, and I still always say my family comes first, and
Mhm.
so that's kind of my idea too, is get it done early so then when we want a weekend or a whole day Sunday, then you're able to. So just try to be proactive to be ahead of schedule, because no matter what, it'll be good.
Well, such wise words
Oh,
shared
thank
today.
you.